That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I am a part of you, you are a part of me, and so together we are one body. I am inside your head, you are inside my heart. We fit together, perfect from the start. I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I'm over here, and you're over there. That's what I said, something between us that's greater than air. Don't you see, it's like I am a part of you, you are a part of me, and so together we are one body. I am inside your head, you are inside my heart. We fit together, perfect from the start. I am a part of you, you are a part of me, and so together we are one body. I am inside your head, you are inside my heart. We fit together, perfect from the start. I am a part of you, you are a part of me, and so together we are one body. I am inside your head, you are inside my heart. We fit together, perfect from the start.
Isn't that fabulous? I think that came out while I was on sabbatical, so I just saw it this week for the first time, so thank you. Thank you, Deborah. And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I am the Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry, and I'm joined today by Service Associate Paolo Sparti and member Jean Nuttall. Tad Koryeth and Amy Austin, and many of you virtually on the video, are providing music today. And we have a fabulous tech team. Larry Sherwood and Mary Hill are here with us. It's their first time flying solo today. Yay for them. And Karen Griglak is our fabulous Zoom host as well. So yes, thank you. Welcome to all the Zoomies. We're glad you're here. And of course, we are all here together, creating this beloved community week after week, day after day. You are all welcome here today. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. With all of your gifts and all of your challenges, you are welcome here. In all the ways that you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living, in all the places you are from that brought you to this moment, you are welcome here. They are all welcome here. And no matter how long you are away, nor how soon until you return, you're welcome here. You're invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today. At this fellowship, we take time to acknowledge that the land surrounding us is the stolen territory of the Arapaho people, and that many tribes roamed freely in this land for millennia before the arrival of white settlers. And we commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making, and to the anti-racism and anti-oppression work that is essential to build the beloved community within and beyond our walls. So today we're continuing our summer series on spiritual exploration and justice making with a service on connections as a spiritual practice. And we'll be looking specifically at the power of deep listening and of our fellowship's covenant groups. If you're new here, we're very, very glad you found us, and we hope that you can experience the joy and wonder of this congregation wherever you are seated right now. Each Sunday is different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. Those on Zoom can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected, and those in person can find our newcomer QR code in the back of the hymnal. And just as a reminder for COVID, any of the servants' associates with their masks off have tested negative for COVID this morning. And we ask that everyone else keep a mask on while in the sanctuary, even while talking, and especially while singing. Following the service, we have coffee hour in Fellowship Hall. Masks are optional in that room. It has a separate ventilation system. We do encourage people to go outside and eat, though, and keep your mask on as much as possible in that room. And Zoomies, you're invited to stay for a virtual coffee hour and chat with one another following the service. We always like to know who's among us on Sunday mornings, so if this is one of your first visits and you are on Zoom, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. And if you're a relatively new person here in our sanctuary and would like to introduce yourself, Paolo can pass you the microphone and you can just briefly say your name and where you live. If there's any newcomers who want to introduce themselves, there's someone over there. Great.
I'm Benjamin. I think I'm letting you know I did my karate test, black belt test, and so that's why I'm back for that. And I will try to make this short. I am going to French Quebec. So there's one to say, and most of I'm back. I'm so busy of karate. But for now, I'm Benjamin Dare Graves.
Great, thank you. Glad to see you, Benjamin. Any other newcomers? There's a newcomer.
Good morning. My name is Karen Amadon. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Lafayette.
Welcome, Karen. Thank you for remembering pronouns. I'm trying to get it in a habit here at the pulpit, too. Anyone else this morning? And on the chat, we have a welcome Benjamin and Karen coming at you. So, welcome. And so in addition to having those folks flying solo, I'm working on an iPad for the first time. I'm trying to get up to the 21st century. So you bear with me this morning as well. So let me go back to where I was. Scroll, scroll, scroll. We'll be talking about scrolling a little later. Okay. So we'll light our chalice. If you have a chalice at home, you can light it and then put in the chat where your chalice is lit. And those of us in here, I will light the chalice for us, and let's all together say our chalice lighting words, which will go up on the screen. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And I invite you to let the sound of the second bowl draw you deeper into the present moment and the company of this gathered community.
Deep Listening by John Fox. When someone deeply listens to you, it's like holding out a dented cup you've had since childhood and watching it fill with cold, fresh water. When it balances on top of the brim, you are understood. When it flows and touches your skin, you are loved. When somebody deeply listens to you, the room where you stay starts a new life, and the place where you wrote your first poem begins to glow in your mind's eye. It is as if gold has been discovered, and when someone deeply listens to you, your bare feet are on the earth. A beloved land that seemed distant is now at home within you.
Hello. I'd like to invite us to sing together now. And I'm going to ask that maybe you remain seated for this one. This is a simple chant, and I'll call out the words to the next verse. A couple of words change each verse, but it mostly stays the same. And also I'd ask that maybe while we're singing this together, if you'd like, to bring to mind someone who is important to you that you recognize might need your presence, or you've had an experience of connection with them. This could be a friend, a family member, someone at the church. Walking with you, walking with you is my prayer. Walking with you. Walking with you, walking with you is my prayer. Singing with you. Singing
When I made the decision to move to Colorado in 2019, I did so thinking that my husband would be moving with me. I acquired a job and moved out before he did. And shortly after I came out and started my new job here, he stopped communicating with me. So here I was, 1,400 miles from home, a stressful new job, no husband, no friends, and feeling about as alone as you could possibly feel. I remembered back when I was a teen, feeling similarly alone, and a neighbor friend introduced me to one of the most loving and accepting communities I have ever known, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Marietta, Georgia. I decided to find my local UU congregation and check it out. Being from Georgia, I assumed there would be only UU congregations in big cities. So after a brief detour to Boulder, I found BVUUF. We were meeting in the Methodist Church, which I have to say was a little off-putting, but I showed up anyway. When I heard the welcome words, my heart melted. My very first Sunday, I shared during Joys and Concerned about my husband's choice not to move to Colorado with me. And I will always be grateful to Deborah Minch for being kind and speaking to me afterwards. Honestly, I can't remember exactly how everything happened, but this kicked off me joining as a member only a few months later, and getting connected with the Rainbow Covenant group. I'm so grateful to still be part of this group. To be honest, I'm not the type of person that strikes up conversations with strangers regularly. I get how this may not be as readily apparent as I come up here and share really intense stuff, also pretty regularly. But in fact, I'm kind of shy and hesitant, especially around new people. The Covenant groups have given me the opportunity to get to know people I never would have on my own. People of different ages and backgrounds, and I've developed deep connections and friendships. We've explored our faith and created real community and connections. The ties are what bind me with you, and the reason I'm still here 3 years later.
I see you, I hear you, I feel you. And though I can't claim to understand, I can stand still and reach out my hand and try to feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I see you. I feel the tears fall from the same source as my own. What a mystery. And though I can't claim to understand, I am listening. I can stand silent and reach out my hand to the words of your song. I see you, I see you, I hear you, I hear you, I feel you.
During our fellowship's Path to Membership class, I often ask people to reflect upon why they first came to the fellowship. Most people will say community right off the bat, right? It's a great reason to step into our doors for sure, and many, many people find this a fabulous community. But I always ask people to go a little bit deeper with that. There's lots of communities. I recently actually heard on NPR show, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, that there is an online community of people who go into elevators, take videos, and post them. So, there you have lots of choices when it comes to communities. So why here? Why this? Why did you come through the doors, the literal or virtual doors of a religious community, of a Unitarian Universalist community? 20th century Unitarian theologian James Luther Adams proclaims that people come to religious communities for two primary reasons: for intimacy and ultimacy. Intimacy, that sense of belonging, a place to be understood, to share of oneself, a place to be heard, a place to grow in the safety of like-hearted people. If we are looking for like-minded people, we may never find the exact, precise community, because each of us really has a mind of our own. But if we are trying to create a community of like-hearted people, we can create that energy and that feeling together. Now, ultimacy, it's meaning-making. People come to communities to find a place to wrestle with life's ultimate questions. Who am I? What is my purpose in life? How did we all get here? How do I make sense of evil? What happens after I die? How do I deal with loss and suffering in life? Now, in our overly busy, consumeristic, driven to distraction culture, true intimacy and ultimacy seem to be in short supply. Many of our interactions with people might look something like this. Hey, Paolo, how are you?
Hey, good morning.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah. So what's up?
Well, this morning when I got up, I had to go get my dog because she's got stitches recently.
Oh.
And so,
Yeah. Hi, Jean. How are you? Yeah, good to see you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Paolo, about your. Was it your dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
my,
Yeah. Good. Okay. We may not think we're doing that, but honestly, that happens a lot. So I'm going to invite us into a little experiment this morning. In a moment, I'm going to have you pair up. Karen has created or will create breakout rooms for pairs on Zoom. And for those of you in this room, just find someone near you. It does not have to be someone you know or don't know, and whoever happens to be near you. Once you're paired, pick person number 1 and person number 2. Person number 1, for about a minute, share with your partner what you did this morning before you came to the service. Just start a conversation. Person number 2, your job is to give that person your full attention, then take it away from time to time, but then bring it back and give them your full attention. So now we're going to pair up, and we're going to give that a try. After a minute, you'll be asked to switch, about a minute, and I'll sing the bowl so you can hear it and switch. And then after that, I want you to share with your partner how each of those felt. So let's just do that for a moment or two. Okay, so come on back. Come on back. Karen, are people back from the chat? Are people back from the breakout rooms? How's that look there? Yes? Okay. So you can write, people in the breakout in Zooms can write in the chat what that felt like. And those of you in here, I really would welcome a few comments from people about what it felt like. I did this at an Interplay Leaders Gathering this summer to experience that. So I'm wondering what your experiences were. What was it like to have someone's full attention and not have it, and then have it again? You didn't do it? The power of the pulpit. A simple request, right? Did anybody not do it because it felt awkward? Yeah, Mark, is that Mark back there? Would you bring the mic? Yeah. Wait for the mic, because otherwise the Zoomies can't hear it. I know people think they're loud, but we want to be sure people are.
Bueno, gracias. I just wanted to know more. You know, she mentioned like dog, and I wanted to know what kind of dog. She mentioned this, and she mentioned that, and it was like, oh, come on, I don't have enough time. You kept hitting that bell all the time.
I kept ringing the bell, yeah. What was it like to take away the attention and to bring it back, or to have somebody's attention go away? Anyone? Mary?
Actually, it felt really normal to me.
Right? Really normal. For you to do it, or for someone to do it back? Both, right? Yeah.
We both reported that when the other person took their attention away, we felt like, wait, should I keep talking? Or am what I'm saying not important, it's boring or something?
Yeah. A couple more and then we'll move on.
So I failed to do the exercise correctly because I thought what Scott was saying was so interesting that I just followed along. But then when he drifted off in the middle of what I was saying, it almost stopped me cold. You know, it really...
It stopped you cold?
Cold, yeah. I didn't want to feel like, what's the point of continuing when he's not paying attention, you know?
Yeah. And last one.
I didn't put my hearing aids in today. So it was very difficult to hear Scott, even though we sat closer and moved closer in. So the distraction actually first came from the outside for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so we even have our own body abilities and challenges that can impact how much attention we can pay at a particular time and in a particular context. Well, when I did this, it felt hauntingly, uncomfortably familiar on both sides. And I actually thought a lot about how often with my children that happens. Now, I just want to mention that Paolo is not the first lonely person to walk through our doors. His story isn't too dissimilar to mine. I moved to a new town and didn't know anybody. I didn't have a husband at the time, but I didn't know anybody, and I just walked into a congregation. And many, many people come in search of connection, of intimacy, and ultimately meaning and purpose. Now, there's no guarantee that Paolo or anyone else will get these needs met in the fellowship of intimacy and ultimacy. And honestly, some people don't, and they don't stay. But when those needs are met, we return again and again to that beloved home within us. We feel nourished. UU minister Eric Wickstrom says people don't come to congregations to join a committee. They come to be transformed. And they may not even be able to name it for themselves. I know I couldn't as a young adult when I walked into a congregation. I couldn't name for myself what I wanted besides the amorphous community. And I believe that if we are doing our church work, the business of our lives and our mission, if we're doing it correctly, all of our efforts will offer us both intimacy, connection, belonging, and ultimacy, that meaning making through working together on things that matter that none of us could do alone. But meeting our own and others' needs for intimacy and ultimacy takes practice, because the rest of the culture is doing this, and we're very well trained in this, and getting more and more trained every day. It takes a kind of attention the kind of attention that we're talking about when we talk about really listening to someone deeply is actually getting to be countercultural. And it can feel awkward. And none of us does it perfectly. We have small, intentional groups that are designed specifically for this task, to help us practice that and to help us to get the goodies that we receive when we have that kind of attention to each other and from each other. Parker Palmer says that one of the ultimate desires in life is to know as we are known. To know as we are known. So our covenant groups are small groups that remain closed for a period of time, and then they open up. They open up so you can get the mix of people, and you might be mixed with people that you'd never met before, maybe people that you never really thought you wanted to get to know. It happens, right? And then you get in a small group with them, and things happen, and you learn more about them, and they become interesting, and you don't want to take your attention away. Covenant groups follow a format of deep check-ins. They create a container through which this kind of connection can happen. There's deep check-ins, and you share on a topic, often our Soul Matters topics, which then connect you to the Sunday services. And they often end up supporting each other outside of their group meetings. Now, we also have many drop-in groups. We call them affinity groups here, like our Senior Seekers group and our LGBTQIA++ gatherings. They're open, and the groups create the kind of structure that they want in those groups. Some of them are more social, some of them might have a particular topic or a particular identity. Today, you're going to learn a little bit more about how to join covenant groups. But if you would like to join with folks who share an identity or a hobby, just let me or Jessica, our Director of Lifespan Faith Formation, know, because it could be just as easy as us telling you, just go ahead and put something in the newsletter, and you might find those people who share a passion or an interest. As I've been planning for this coming year, I've been struck by the fact that worship, our time together here, is only about 52 hours being together in the whole year. So this hour, this sacred hour, well, and the way I do worship, it's probably closer to 75 hours in the whole year. But you get the idea. There's a lot of hours in a year, right? And I think a big part of what makes this hour feel so beautiful and so sacred is a web of relationships that are woven together all week long. You're not coming to a performance of strangers and walking back. We are connecting in worship, but we are also connecting in all the ways that we seek and provide for one another intimacy and ultimacy. So I hope you will take advantage of the opportunities to join with smaller groups, either a covenant group where you make this commitment to travel together once a month for the year, or find some of these other smaller groups, because it really could make the difference of your life.
We were trying to find a hymn that would speak to this idea of returning again to connection with one another. Your focus goes away and you return again. So we're going to sing number 1011 in the Teal hymnal, and the title is Return Again. And so if you would, it's kind of a loose round, and just trust yourself to go ahead and follow. Tad or I will be singing at least one of those parts, and so feel free to sing along with any and to switch around and to do really whatever that you'd like, and we'll just keep returning again to this piece. Again, number 1011 in the Teal hymnal. Would you please stand in body or spirit as you are able, and let's go ahead and sing. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to
return to the home of your soul.
Well, do you think a covenant group can help you return again? After all, what's so great about a covenant group? Well, let me count the ways for you. Let's look at the Lens Covenant Group. Each member of our group serves as a lens through which we can dig down and discover our authentic selves. And how do we dig? Sharing losses, a parent, a friend, and one of our own khaki. Writing poetry, song lyrics, and even one's premature obituary. Revealing ourselves through t-shirts, photographs, and journal reflections. Each of us is truly seen in the Lens Group. There is no generation gap among the red, brown, blonde, and gray-haired women. The commitment is easy. We want to be there for each monthly gathering, to laugh and sometimes cry, learn, listen deeply, and laugh some more. From acquaintances to soulmates, we created a caring community whose spirit we carry into our individual lives. Each of you will have an opportunity to join such a caring community, namely a covenant group, by signing up after the service. Those on Zoom will also be able to do so. Details to follow in the announcements.
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives in this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. For the month of August, we will share our plate with Right Relationship Boulder, an organization of Indigenous and non-Native people working with individuals, local organizations, and the governments to support Indigenous people's connection to the land, raise Indigenous voices, and practice right relationships with the Native peoples who lived in the Boulder Valley historically, and those who live here today. You can text your donation at the number on the screen, or if you are at the fellowship today, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously as you so often do. As our musical reflection begins, we invite you to write in the chat your answer to this question. Share a time when someone's full attention made a difference.
for the work of the fellowship and for the work of Right Relationship Boulder, we dedicate our efforts and our offerings. This is a time of our community sharing, our time of connection with one another in our larger group. If you're in the sanctuary right now and you have something you'd like to share, a joy or a concern, you can come up front, share your joy or concern using the microphone, and add a stone to our water. Please keep your mask on for the sharing. And if you're on Zoom and you'd like to share a joy or a concern, please type it in the chat window, sending it to everyone, and then following the people in the room, I will read the chats off of my phone. And Paula will add a stone to the sacred waters on your behalf. And wherever you are, please tell us your name and where you live. Thank you. I share these words from Patrice Curtis, one of my colleagues. You, yes, you right there. You are the spirit of the holy, the face of the sacred. Your frail, strong human body, the universe manifest. I give my thanks for you. I turn my face and my hands toward you to behold and hold you precious. My kindness lays upon you and surrounds you. And when I fail, frail myself, I turn yet again and again to be gracious to you. I am inseparable from you for all time, in this life and the next and all that follow. It has been so, it is so, and will be forevermore. Beloveds, I turn my graciousness towards you in my frailty and my failings. And we as well here practice that sacred art of turning towards one another in love, joy, frailty, and forgiveness. May this be our ongoing promise and prayer. Blessed be. Amen. I am back on for announcements. Is that correct? That's correct. Larry's looking at me. Larry, read your texts. You guys say that too? Larry, read your text. So we're doing announcements. We're moving to announcements now. So visitors and newcomers are invited to meet with me to learn more about Unitarian Universalism and our congregation following today's service. You will find someone outside with a sign that says chat with the minister or meet and greet the minister, something like that. And then we'll go to a quieter place. But go out into the foyer and you'll find someone who will then have us all go down that way. Jean.
And if I promise not to touch your iPad, may I use it?
You can even touch it. You can use it and touch it.
Those of you who would like to sign up for a covenant group can do so after the service. There's a table next to the kitchen. For those on Zoom, you can sign up by going to the link in the chat. Some of our current groups have openings and new groups will be forming. For additional information, you can see me after the service. I will be at that table. Also, my phone number I thought it was, I think my phone number's in the chat, so I'll turn to my cell phone for Zoomies in case you want to call me and ask questions. So any questions? I'll see you outside. Thank you.
We also have an identities survey that helps us put together the affinity groups that I was talking to you about. Those are, the information that you might put in that is not broadcast. It's select for us to be helping people form groups. We might have a group of widows and widowers. We might have a group of caregivers for people with Alzheimer's, caregivers of people with dementia and things like that. So that's going into the chat, and that will go out on email today. So keep an eye on that. You may have filled it out maybe a year or so ago. You might want to update it if you want. And then it also says if you'd be willing to convene a group. So you can check that off if you have an interest and you'd be willing to be the spark. And Amy has an announcement.
You all did such a great job with the music today that I'm thinking that many of you might like to join choir, which is starting up on Wednesday. And we're starting with a potluck at 6 o'clock. And then if you can come to that, we'd love to have you. And then we're going to start singing at 7. So let me just say, like in the way that we welcome each other in the service, that you are welcome in choir. You can be quiet, you can be loud, you can have experience or no experience. And I will also tell you that I've been here almost 6 years now, and it was joining the choir that really gave me my very deep connection with the fellowship. So if you are looking for a place and you like music, please join us on Wednesday.
And now we'll extinguish our chalice for today. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And may you all go in peace. May you find the kind of connections that feed your soul. May you experience deeply the beauty of knowing others and being known by others, of intimacy and of ultimacy. May you be well.
There's one more chance to show your musical chops in the Teal Hymnal 1021. It's a song that I'm sure many of you are familiar with about being there for each other. Lean on Me, 1021 in the Teal Hymnal. Here we go. So